welcome all of you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, so last day I have discussed about the instruction classification, which is based on the functionality. That means there are 5 types of operations. Number one was data transfer or data copy operations. Uh, Number two is arithmetic related operations. Number three was logical operations. Number four, branching operations, and number five was machine control operations. Okay, so today I would like to discuss about the another uh, instruction classification, which is based on the length that is very important to know, to write any program or logic in practical classes. So based on the length of the machine language code, 8085 instructions that can be classified into 3 categories. Number one, that is 1 byte instructions. Number two, 2 byte instructions. And number three, 3 byte instructions. So that assembly language instructions should be converted into machine code for storage and execution by the microprocessor. So the length of the machine language code, that determines the length of the program. Okay, you have several memory locations through which you can perform the operation, because every instruction will be loaded in some memory location, and from that memory location the microprocessor must fetch that following instruction codes or the machine codes one by one sequentially. So this basically this determines the amount of memory required for the program, how much memory are used by a particular program. That can be identified if you know the length of each instruction. And that is also important in case of or to create any decision uh, for branching operation. Okay, whether you need to follow this way or you need to follow the another way to perform that operation. Okay, so 1 byte instructions basically which require only 1 byte in machine language, these are called 1 byte instructions. Okay, and these instructions, uh, it has the machine code, or which is called the opcode to represent the operation that is to be performed. So here is the some examples of 1 byte instruction, like move a comma b, move a comma b. So for every instruction there is a particular machine code or hex code which was designed by the Intel. So it has a hex code chart. If you have any textbook, on the last page you can find out the full hex code chart which is available, because you need that chart. Right now your practical classes are going on based on simulator, but if it is possible to
আরে
articulate.
স্টার্টিং এ অ্যাপার্টস এর রুল হচ্ছে তুই স্টার্টিং এ যদি
Hello,
মারিস তাহলে তো পরে প্রবলেম হবে না।
hello,
স্কুল থেকে আসলে
hello.
প্রবলেম হয়ে যায়, আমি দেখছি।
Everyone mute yourself.
হোয়াট ছাড়া
Shayan Mondol, mute yourself. Roll number
আমি
one,
এর আগে একদিন অ্যাপার্টস কিনলাম একাই, ঠিক আছে,
Shayan
4 জন উঠছে।
Mondol, mute yourself. Okay, so what I'm telling. Huh. So for every instruction there is a particular machine code, fixed machine code. So in our lab, physically, if you when you about to come to the microprocessor and microcontroller lab in our institution, so there you need to perform the experiment based on the trainer kit, and using that trainer kit, all of this machine code must be calculated. Okay, and how can you calculate it? You need to write the program using these assembly language instructions like move, add. These are identified by user, that means yourself. Okay, but that is not recognized by the processor. Okay, so processor needs to convert this assembly language into a machine code, and that machine code can be calculated, can be converted using that hex code chart. Okay, which will be provided to you every time when you are about to perform any experiment based on the trainer using that trainer kit. So you must familiar with the technique to conversion from assembly language instruction to a machine code, and how that will be performed and how that will be entered into that trainer key, that will be explained later. But right now, for theoretical knowledge purpose, you have to know the concept behind this. So if you have any textbook, you can follow that page. On the last portion of your textbook, the hex code chart is available. Okay, do you have any textbook right now?
Uh,
Anyone? Please respond. Do you have any textbook?
that's the PDF version which was sent in email.
Sorry.
That we have cost copy. I mean, the PDF versions of one or two books. It was sent in the email by ma'am.
Have you checked it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's
Is there
8085 basic architecture.
okay? Is there any hex code chart available on the last portion of
No, sir.
your
I don't.
of that book? Okay, you can check it later. So these are fixed. So that means move a comma b, this is your assembly language instruction, and if it is converted, then the hex code or the machine code for this instruction will be 78. These are all in hexadecimal number system. Okay, this 78, 86, AF, what will be the uh, machine code of a particular instruction, these machine code will be these are in hexadecimal number system format. Okay, so the meaning of this every instruction like move a comma b, what does it mean? That means move the content from b register to a register. So if you want to perform any data transfer or data copy operation using two register, that means suppose if you have the content in b register is 02, and sorry, and you need to transfer that 02 from b register to a register, you need to perform this instruction execution, move a comma b. The meaning of this one, move the content from b register to a register, that is also same with 78, but this is used by the programmer or user, this is used by the processor or the machine. Okay, the meanings are same, but the languages are different, because human beings are not used to identify these codes, what is the value. Okay, they can write down this type of instruction to create a program, to create a logic, but that must be recognized by the processor using this type of machine code or hex codes. So now I have told you that every instruction, that means 78, it is an instruction code. Okay, the meaning of this 178 is move the content from b register to a register. Now this instruction must be loaded in some memory location. Okay, so if this one is stored in some memory location, that means this code is stored inside that memory location. Okay, I need to use paint. This is very important for your lab class also, which will be performed tomorrow. Okay, so you need to clear this concept. Okay, so here I need to write one instruction. suppose in 8000 memory location, so there are lots of memory location from 00000 to FFFF. So that is the range of memory locations. 64 kilobytes of memory location from 00 to F FFFF.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes,
So
visible.
so the total memory range that we have already know about the 8085, that is 00000 to FFFF. 64 kilobytes of memory locations are there. Now take any one memory location, the starting point of any program, like I have written this one, move a comma move a comma b. Okay, and assume this instruction is loaded into 8000 memory location, but this one is for us. Okay, so how microprocessor can treat this? So microprocessor works on this principle, that in 8000 memory location, what is stored? 78. Is it clear? So move a comma b, what does it mean? The same meaning is for 78. Okay, so in every memory location, in this way, I am writing move a comma b, add b, halt, everything in assembly language, simple English like words I can use, but that is loaded inside the memory location in this form. Okay, the corresponding machine codes will be written one by one from the starting location. Sequentially it will be loaded. So now to load this entire instruction in 8000 means to load this one into 8000. So to load this move a comma b, the meaning is same, 78. Now to load move a comma b, how many memory locations are required? One memory location, because it has only one hexadecimal code, which is 8-bit in size, nothing else. Okay, so after move a comma b, there is nothing. So the complete instruction is this one. The same is with this one. It is the complete instruction. Now to load the complete instruction, how many memory locations are required? One memory location. That's why this type of instruction is called 1 byte instruction. So the instruction which requires only one memory location, that instruction is called 1 byte instruction. Okay, so another examples are here, like this one, add m or add b. The add m, the machine code of add m is 86. Like add b, that is fixed hex code, which is 80. Okay, so in that way, different instructions has different machine code. So to load the entire instruction means to load this machine code into some memory location. Okay, so each memory location can store maximum 8-bit of data, maximum 8-bit of data. So here all this data, all this code, machine codes are 8-bit in size. So to store this one, you need one memory location. To store this type of instruction code, you need another memory location. So each time if you want to store any complete instruction, that means you need to store that corresponding machine code into a specific memory location, which needs one memory location. That's why all these type of instructions are called 1 byte instruction. Is it clear? Tell me, clear up to this much? Do you have any doubt?
So can we specify that address
Yes,
in which it would be stored?
Always you have to specify the address. Otherwise microprocessor can't know where this instruction is stored. You have to load the address, you have to give the starting address. Okay, your program should
So
be
what would be
started
the
in some,
syntax? of
No,
writing that
no.
address?
Okay, tell me. Uh, the first thing you need to understand that it needs memory address. Okay, so if any program is written in some memory location, there must be some starting point and there must be some ending point. Okay, you have to specify the starting point. You have to specify the starting point. Okay, from where it will be started the execution. Now in simulator, it is already given the starting point. Okay, last day those who have performed the program, you have to write the instructions only. Okay, you have not given any memory address, so already predefined memory address is was there, so the starting point was fixed. Okay, but if you would like to perform that experiment, the same experiment using the trainer kit which is in our lab physically, you need to specify the address. What is your starting address, memory address, from where your program is started? You have to specify that address. Okay, but in simulator you don't need to give the starting address. It is already predefined and you have to write the instructions so that it will be started from the that particular position and it will be executed the instructions sequentially one by one. Is it clear? That is the difference between the using a simulator and using a trainer kit, physical trainer kit. Okay.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so 1 byte instruction means it needs one memory location to store. Okay, there are lots of instructions. Those are available as 1 byte instruction. One by one, you can you must familiar with that. Okay, when you are about to write your programs in lab, you will familiar with that. Familiar with this content. Yes.
স্যার বলছি স্যার আগের দিন আমরা একটা যে প্রোগ্রামটা করেছিলাম সেখানে এসটি নিয়েছিলাম 0009 তো সেখানে স্যার ওই যে অ্যাড্রেসটা নিয়েছিলাম এবার তার তো মেমোরি লোকেশন তো আলাদা হবে
আমি এখনো yes I need some time to clear this. Okay, I will explain everything through my lecture today. Okay, you have to wait. So after that, if you have any confusion relating to this, I will clear it. Okay, so I need more time to define this one by one. 1 byte instruction, 2 byte instruction, 3 byte instruction. Okay, so move on to the next slide, which is for 2 byte instruction. 2 byte instruction means instructions that require 2 bytes in machine codes and 2 consecutive memory locations to store. These are called 2 byte instructions. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so instructions that requires 2 consecutive memory locations to store the entire instruction, complete instruction. These instructions are called 2 byte instructions, like as for example mvi a comma 7f. It's a random data which is used in this instruction. You can take any data, any 8 bit of data from 00 to ff. Like I can write it as mvi a comma 03 also. Okay, so the complete instruction is this one, mvi a comma 03. Now according to the hex chart by the Intel, the machine code for MVIA is 3E. Okay, move immediate data into accumulator. The meaning of this one is 3E. Now when this 3E is being fetched and executed by the processor understand, okay, one data has to be loaded inside the accumulator. So next it demands for the data. And what is this data? The next thing, that is the operand part, 7f or whatever be your data. Okay, as per your writing instruction. So here mvi a comma 7f, it has two parts. One is the opcode, another is the operand. Okay, so the opcode basically it is defined by 3e, and operand, that is the another part. Now to load this instruction, you need 2 consecutive memory location, because one memory location is reserved for 3e, which is 8 bit in size. As I have told you earlier, that each memory location can store 8 bit of data. Now 2 consecutive 8 bit data, to store these 2 consecutive 8 bit data, you need 2 consecutive memory locations. So if it needs 2 consecutive memory locations, then it is called a 2-byte instruction. So MVI A, 7A that is loaded inside 8000 means it requires 8000 and 8001. Why? Because this one has to be converted into machine code, and when it is converted, the corresponding machine code will be loaded in 2 consecutive memory locations. Now to load this thing is the same meaning to load this one and this one. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So in the same way, any immediate instruction must be 2-byte, must be a 2-byte instruction because it needs 2 consecutive memory locations. Next, 3-byte instruction. So here we have used last day STA some memory location, or we can use LDA some memory location. So these are one 16-bit code, 16-bit code. Okay, so if it is written as JMP some memory location 2085, assume. Now to load this instruction, to complete instruction, JMP has certain machine code which is fixed, that is C3. Now it's a 16-bit of code, 16-bit. Now each memory location can store 8-bit of data. So that 16-bit should be divided into 2 8-bit form. So lower 8-bit will be processed first, then the upper 8-bit. So to store the lower 8-bit, you need another memory location. So the code of JMP C3 will be loaded in one memory location. Then the next memory location will be used for lower 8-bit of your memory location. Then the next memory location will be used to process the upper 8-bit of your 16-bit memory location. So 3 consecutive memory locations are required. That's why it is a 3-byte instruction. Okay, so the machine code for jump is C3. Then 2085, any 16-bit number will be entered in 8085 microprocessor in reverse order. Lower 8-bit will be processed first, then the upper 8-bit. That's why 2085 that will be entered into the corresponding memory location in reverse order. 85 will be processed first, then 20. In the same way, if this type of instruction LDA or STA is written as 8850, the code of LDA is 3A. Then the lower 8-bit will be processed first as 50, then the upper 8-bit as 88. If it is written as STA 0005, then the code of STA is 32. Then 0005 will be processed in reverse order. 05 will be processed first, then 00. Okay, in the next instruction, LXI H, 0520, the opcode or the machine code for LXI H is 21. Then after that, you have 16-bit of code. That 16-bit should be entered in reverse order. 20 will be processed first, then the upper 8-bit 05. So to load this entire instruction, you need 3 consecutive memory location. To store entire instruction, you need 3 consecutive memory location. Okay, so every time these type of instructions needs 3. So to store this instruction into the memory location, you need 3 consecutive memory location. That's why these are 3-byte instructions. So for 1-byte instruction, you need 1 memory location to load the entire instruction. For 2-byte instruction, you need 2 consecutive memory locations to load the entire instruction. And for 3-byte instruction, you need 3 consecutive memory locations to store the entire instruction, the complete instruction. Okay, so these are based on the these are the classification of instruction based on the length. Now coming to the next topic, which is the again instruction classification based on the addressing modes. Now every instruction every instruction in a program has to operate on data. Okay, the process of specifying that data which is to be operated on by the instruction is called the addressing. Okay, the process of specifying the data to be operated on by the instruction is called addressing, and different ways are there. So these several ways are called modes, addressing modes. Okay, there are so the various formats of specifying these operands are called actually addressing modes. Now 8085 has this following 5 addressing modes, starting from the immediate addressing, then direct addressing or memory direct addressing, the same thing, then register addressing, indirect addressing, and the last one is implied or implicit addressing. Okay, I will discuss it one by one. So first one is the immediate addressing. Okay, in immediate addressing, the operand, that is the part of the instruction. So I, if any instruction which is related to I, that means immediate data is there. And if immediate data is involved into your instruction, that means these instructions are in this category, which is immediate addressing mode. So immediately your data is specified into instruction. That's why these are under this category, immediate addressing mode, like MVI A comma any data byte, which is referred as here 9A, MVI A comma 9A, or ADI 05, or ANI 05, or XRI 05, or SUI 05, or LXI 0, LXI H comma 8050. Okay, so if any instruction is related to I, that means immediate data is there, whether it's a 8-bit or 16-bit, but your immediate data is there. That's why these are in immediate addressing modes category. Next is the memory direct addressing. Now memory direct addressing, it is related to some memory location. Memory direct addressing, it is related to memory, where the memory location is directly specified into your instruction. Like STA, we have already used in our lab plus STA 9001. What is the use of this one? I need to store my result from accumulator to some memory location. So here memory location is directly specified into your instruction. Like LDA, the same type of instruction which is related to memory location, but just opposite to STA. Okay, so STA means from accumulator to memory location, LDA means from memory location to accumulator, but both of them are applicable with some memory location which is directly specified into your instruction. That's why it is in under memory direct addressing mode. Okay, another example is in and out instruction. Now STA and LDA, these are related to memory device. In and out, these are applicable for input output peripheral devices. Okay, same, in the same way there must be some address. For input output, the address size will be 8-bit in size. For memory, RAM and ROM purpose, the memory size is 16-bit. Okay, so here also these are the port address or device address. So address is directly specified into this instruction. That's why these are called memory direct, these are under memory direct addressing modes category. The next is the register direct addressing mode. According to this name, that means register to register operation will be performed, like move B comma C, move A comma B, move A comma C, all the possible combinations of using that 7 programmable registers. How many programmable registers are there? 7 programmable registers are there. A, B, C, D, E, H, L. Now all the possible combinations of using this for move instruction will be move A comma B, A comma C, A comma D, A comma E, A comma H, A comma L, B comma A, move B comma C, B comma D, move B comma E, B comma H, B comma L, move C comma A, move C comma B. So in this way, all the possible combinations using the register to register, that is under register addressing modes. Or you can use this one also, add B. What is the function of add B? Addition between the content of register A and the content of register B. You don't know the content, but you need to add them. Okay, so where register to register, whatever be the content of accumulator, whatever be the content of register B will be added together. Okay, you are not uh, going to access that particular data directly. Whatever be your data, that will be added. Okay, you are not bothered about your data, you are bothered about your operation. Now add B, that is also based on register to register operation. That's why this is under register direct addressing mode. Okay, sub B, that is also possible. Next category is for indirect addressing mode, where this type of instruction is available. This is very, very important instruction, and from tomorrow you have to use this instruction every day. Okay, you must clear this concept. Move A comma M. Move A comma M. You can write it as move A comma M also. You can write it as move B comma M. All the possible combinations using 7 programmable registers, like move A comma M, move B comma M, move C comma M, move D comma M, move E comma M, move H comma M, move L comma M. Okay, you can write these instructions. Now what is M? Is it a register? No, there is no register called M. You know that how many registers are there? A register is there, B register, C, D, E, H, L. These are all individual 8-bit registers. Okay, 16-bit registers are program counter and stack pointer. And there is another flag register which is 8-bit in size. So there is no one, so no instruction is called, no register is called as M. So what is M? M is the indirect memory location. Now how this indirect memory location can be accessed? Using only with HL register pair. Using only with HL register pair. So M related instruction is applicable only with HL register pair. No other register pair will be used in this case. There are 3 register pairs, HL, BC and D. But M related instruction only applicable for HL register pair. Now I need to use the pen again to clear this concept. Okay, suppose I have written LXI H comma 1 2 3 4. Okay, what does it mean? Load the extended immediate data into HL register pair. That means if it is my HL register pair, this one is H, this one is L. Okay, how this HL pair will be accessed? Using this instruction. If this instruction is being executed by the processor, the corresponding data byte will be loaded in this way. 1 2 will be loaded inside H and 3 4 will be loaded inside L. Is it clear? 1 2 will be loaded in H register. So upper 8-bit will be processed in upper register and lower 8-bit will be loaded into lower register. So if this one is used, that means 1 2 3 4 is my data. Okay, so these are my data which is loaded inside HL register pair. But if along with this instruction, if this instruction is used, move A comma M here, if these two instructions are written sequentially, then this 1 2 3 4 is not my data. It is a memory location where some data byte is there. So if it is your memory locations, okay, these are my memory locations, and this is one location, this is another location, this is another location, this is another location. So in this way it is filled up. So if first location is written as 1 2 3 4, the next location will be 1 2 3 5, the next location will be 1 2 3 6, next location will be 1 2 3 7, then 1 2 3 8, then 1 2 3 9. In this way it will be growing, increasing order. Okay, so now this is my memory location where some data byte is there. What is the data byte? Take any data byte. Suppose 50 is stored, 50 is stored. So that means HL register pair hold this memory location, not the 50. It holds this memory location where some data byte is there. Now that data byte should be copied to accumulator. Okay, the meaning of this one, move the content from the memory location which is pointed by HL register pair into accumulator. I repeat, move the content from the memory location pointed by HL register pair to the accumulator. Move the content from memory location pointed by HL register pair to the accumulator. So the new content of accumulator will be 50 after executing these two instructions. Is it clear? So itself, if it is used alone in your program, if this instruction only used alone in your program, that means 1 2 3 4 is your data. But if these two instructions are used in your one program, then this 1 2 3 4 is not your data, it's a memory location. It's a memory location. Okay, and from that memory location the content will be moved to accumulator. Tell me, clear up to this much? So HL register pair, it has two functions. One is it can be used to store 16-bit data directly, or it can be used to point some memory location indirectly. And M related instructions are only applicable with HL register pair. Is there any confusion? Hello, am I audible?
No, sir.
So do you have any queries, any doubt? Clear? What is the difference between this instruction alone and both of them, if it used both of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why, so it is indirectly specified into your instruction. That's why these instruction move M related instructions are called in this category indirect addressing mode. Okay, so move A comma M means here the data is in the memory location pointed to by the contents of the HL register pair. The data is moved to the accumulator. Okay, and the last one, which is the implied or implicit addressing mode. Implied or implicit addressing mode. Now, implied or implicit addressing mode, here the instruction itself specifies the data which is to be operated. There is nothing after that. There is no register, there is no operand individually specified, like CMA, like HLT halt, like RAR, like RAL, like EI. Okay, so after that, after CMA, there is nothing. This is the complement of the accumulator content. Okay, you can't write CMA B or CMA C. No, only CMA is there. Like halt, HLT. After that, you don't need to register. You don't need to specify any register like halt A or halt B. No, you don't need it. So that's why if you don't need any operand individually to specify it, then these instructions, these type of instructions are in this category, which is in implied or implicit addressing modes. Okay. Okay, now this one is the format of any assembly language program. What will be the format? Like you can write it as memory address in one column, then machine code, then label, then mnemonics, then comments. Okay, if it is written as MVI A, 5F, it is loaded inside, assume 8000 memory location. So it's a 2-byte instruction. So that means 2 consecutive memory locations are reserved for this one. So what will be the next instruction address? 8002. Here you can write new instruction. If it is 1-byte instruction, then it needs only 1 memory location. If it is a 2-byte instruction, then it needs 2 consecutive memory location. If it is a 3-byte instruction, then 3 consecutive memory locations are required. And as per this instruction size, the next instruction address will be calculated. Okay. And what is label? Label means you can give a name of that particular instruction address. Initially, we don't know when I would like to write any program, any logic. If I need to create any program logic, then first I need to write the instructions. What is the meaning of that? How it creates a logic. At that time, we don't need to consider this machine codes, this memory address. Simply write down the instructions one by one. You can check whether this logic is right or wrong. If it is right, then you need to specify, if it is required, to give a name of that particular memory location. Because at that time, I have not calculated individually the memory instruction address. So I have just given a name. Any name you can give that to specify it. That is called the label. Okay, I will show you one complete example of assembly language program after that. Now tell me, clear up to this much? Is there any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. Hold on. I have a call. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Done. Have you done it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a program, this is an assembly language program for addition of 2 8-bit numbers. Last day we have already performed the basic addition method. Like you have 2 numbers and you need to add them and store the result in some memory location. Okay, in that program we have not considered the carry portion. Okay, we have used 2 small numbers so that no carry will be generated, so that you can store the accumulator content into some specified memory location. But here, this is your general program by which you can add any numbers. You can add 2 8-bit any numbers. There may be a carry, may not be a carry, but whatever be your result, that result should be stored in some memory location. And here the memory locations are 9050 and 9051. That means if your the sum will be stored in 9050 memory location, and the carry will be saved in this memory location 9051. That is more than 8-bit number. If it is generated in the extra 9th bit, that bit should be stored here in this memory location 9051, and your 8-bit result will be stored in 9050 memory location. Okay, so we have considered two inputs in two consecutive memory location. One is in 9000, which is 80, and another is in 9001, which is 81. So we need to add them. These are my inputs. We need to add them. And where we need to store the result? In these two consecutive memory location, where first memory location is for storing this sum portion, and second memory location is used to store the carry. It is used to store the carry. Okay. Now, first we need to call this data. We need to fetch this data from this memory location to accumulator. Now, how can we initialize? This is my memory location. As I have told you earlier, that LXI H, 9000. If it is written alone, this 9000 be your data. If it is written alone, it is my data. But if I would like to treat this one as my memory location, then I need to use this M related instructions, so that move A comma M means move the content from the memory location which is specified by this HL register pair. Which memory location? 9000 memory location. And what is my data? 80. And that 80 should be stored inside accumulator. So using these two instructions, this is my memory location where some data byte is there, and that data byte should be transferred to the accumulator. Okay, so my first number is stored inside accumulator as per architecture rules of 8085. Hello.
Yes, sir. Sir, as per this command LXI H9000H, sir, we are loading the H panel with the data, sir. But sir,
Yes.
will the user provide us the data 80?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sir.
So that 80 is not stored inside HL. Okay, that 80 is stored inside memory location, and that memory location is stored in HL. Just like you are from EC department, so where it is in Technomain Salt Lake. Okay, so Technomain Salt Lake is HL, and this 9000 is your ECE, and in that ECE, what is your roll number? That is here. Is it clear? HL,
Yes.
which is equivalent to the college or institute. 9000, that is the department, and inside that department, the data, which is the roll number of a particular student. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
So now my first data, that is loaded inside the accumulator. Okay, then I need to call the second data, because one data is stored inside accumulator as per the rules of architecture. That first data must be stored inside accumulator to add. Okay, for any arithmetic or logical operation, your first data should be stored inside accumulator. That's why I have used these two commands, and my first data is already loaded inside accumulator. Now for second data byte, now first data byte, now first memory location was referred by HL. So from 9000, how can we go to the 9001? If we increment the location by 1. If we increment the memory location by 1. Now what is the size of this memory location? It's a 16-bit. Now to increase any 16-bit number, we have one instruction, that is INX-H. Now if we increment this location by 1, we can get easily the memory address 9001, from where the second data byte must be fetched. Now HL points which memory location? This memory location. And if the same type of instruction is used, like move B comma M, now M points HL register pair, and now HL points which memory location? This memory location, because already I have incremented the memory location by 1. So now HL points 9001, and in this memory location, whatever be your data, that should be transferred to the B register. So first data and second data both are loaded in two different registers. First data is in A and second data is in B, up to this one. Now what I need to do next thing is add them. How can you add them? Using add B instruction. If I have added these two numbers, the result is stored inside automatically inside the accumulator. But that result, which is in 8-bit, it is 8-bit in size. But I don't know whether there is a carry or not. So you have to make a decision here. So it creates a branching here, whether there is any carry or not. Now, if any carry, if there is no carry, no problem, because my 8-bit result is stored inside accumulator. But what happened if there is any carry? That means 9th number bit, because we know that accumulator is a 8-bit register. Accumulator is an 8-bit register. So it can't hold the 9th number bit. But 9th number bit, you have to specify where it is. It is after addition, if any 9th number bit is generated, that is stored in temporary register. And what are those temporary registers? W and Z, which are not available to you, because these two temporary registers are valid for applicable with the internal operation for the microprocessor itself. Okay, so how can you get that 9th number bit? So that's why there is a technique to store the carry bit, means extra bit, 9th number bit. And what is the technique? So after addition, we have to create a condition. What happened if there is no carry? And what happened if there is any carry? So here you need to create a branching operation. So for branching operation, we have two types of instructions, jump and call. So jump is used for a single program only. Call is used for sub-program also. So here we need only main program execution. That's why we need to go for jump instruction. But that jump should be conditional jump instruction. Conditional jump instruction. Okay. So if any condition is to be applied with jump instruction, so how can we implement it? Okay. So I need to make a branching operation here in this position after the addition. After addition, there will be a carry, maybe a carry, may not be a carry. Okay. Now to save this carry, you need another register. Okay, because already 8-bit result is stored in somewhere else, which is in A, and another 9th number bit, whatever be your bit, that must be 8-bit in size, the extra thing also, because after 8-bit it creates 16-bit. Okay, so another 8-bit register you need to prepare it to store the carry portion, and that's why we have initialized one register as C register as 00. That means initially we have considered that there will be no carry. So if there is any carry, the C register will be 1. If there is no carry, it will be remain same 00. So C register is used to store the carry. Okay, C register is used to store the carry. because A register is stored the 8-bit result. So content of C will be changed according to your status of the operation. So if any carry is generated, C will be 1. If carry is not generated, there is no carry, C will be 0, 0. So initially, it is better to consider there is no carry. So if there is no carry, I don't need to perform anything extra operation. I don't want any extra operation. Okay, that's why it is easiest for us to implement the concept first. If there is no carry, what happened? Okay, that's why I have written this instruction, jump on no carry, JNC, jump on no carry, where you need to give a memory location. So I have given a memory location name, that is store. You can give your name also here, any name, যে কোথায় জাম্প করবে যদি ক্যারি না আসে, if there is no carry, where it need to be jumped. So it always so if there is no carry, it will jump to such memory location whose name is store. So if there is no carry, directly it goes to this memory location and execute the program. And if there is any carry, then perform in this way, this instruction, then this instruction, then this instruction, and sequential instruction. So either you have to go in this way by skipping this instruction, or you can go sequentially one by one in this way. So it creates a branch over here. Either you need to go here, or you need to go in this way. Okay, so if there is no carry, I don't need to store anything else. So simply I need to initialize the output memory location as LXI H9050, or you can write it as LDA9 STA9050 also. In spite of this LXI H9050 and move M, A INXH, you can write it as STA9050. Okay, STA9050, you can write it. No problem. So here I have initialized another memory location. This memory location is for storing the output purpose. So again, my accumulator result, which is 8-bit in size, that is stored in accumulator. So from accumulator, it goes to memory location. Which memory location? The memory location which is pointed by H and register pair. Here it is in this case 9050. So accumulator content will be moved to 9050. Then I need to store the carry portion, and where it is in C register. Now to store the carry in the next memory location, which is 9051 as per the problem statement. So I need to increase the memory location by 1 so that I can store the content from C register to that memory location where the carry will be saved. Okay, then stop my program execution using halt. So this is for if there is no carry. So this way it is for if there is no carry. But what happened if there is any carry? I have told you earlier that if there is any carry, C will be 1. If there is no carry, C will be 0. So if there is any carry, C will be 1. So how can you go from 0 to 1? If you increment the content of C by 1. And how can you increment the content of C by 1? Using INRC. So if there is no carry, it goes in this way. If there is any carry, just perform extra operation to increment the content of C register by 1, then store the accumulator content, 8-bit result, then store the carry content. Clear? And here the output is written wrong. It will be 0, 1. And this will be 0, 1. Manually, you can perform 80 and 81, 80 plus 81. So 80 plus 81 is 80 and 81. If you want to add them, 80 means 1 0 0 0. This is 8, and 0 0 0 0 means 0. So 80 can be written in binary form in this way, and 81 can be written in this way: 1 0 0 0, and 1 represents 0 0 0 1. So if you add them, what will be your result? 0 plus 1 1, 0 plus 0 0, 0 plus 0 0, 0 plus 0 0, 0 plus 0 0, here also 0, this one is also 0, but 1 plus 1 is 1 0, 1 0. So your 8-bit result is this one. So if it is converted again in hexadecimal number system, this will be 0, 4 zeros represent 0, and 0 0 0 1 represent 1. So accumulator hold this value 0 1. And what about carry? So this is your carry, which is 1. So 1 represents 0 0. If it is if you need to convert it into binary form in 8-bit size, then this will be 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1, which is again in hexadecimal 0 1, and that will be stored inside which register? C register, as per my consideration in this program. C register, and this one is in A register. So this 0 1 is your sum, and this 0 1 will be your carry. Clear? So these are my inputs. I repeat the same thing again. Now from the starting point, how can you execute
Sir.
your yes?
স্যার INRC যেটা আছে
হুম।
স্যার সেটা ইনক্রিজ বাই 1 বাইট হবে না স্যার?
1 byte na?
1 বিট স্যার।
Yes. Byte equals to 8 bit. 1 byte equals to 8 bit. Okay, যে কোনো নাম্বারই এক ইনক্রিজ হয়, means এক বিট ইনক্রিজ হচ্ছে in this context of microprocessor bit and byte operation. So this will be increased by 1 bit, because if it is written as in binary form 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0, what will be the next number? 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Is it clear?
Yes.
So 1 bit is increased, not the full 8 bit. 8 bit equals to 1 byte. যদি 1 byte increase হতো তাহলে পুরো 8টা বিটই চেঞ্জ হয়ে যেত। Is it clear?
Yes sir, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from the starting point, I repeat this process. First, LXI H9000. 9000 is my input memory location, which is initialized by the HL register pair using this instruction, LXI H, 9000. So you have to remember one thing for every program. If you want to initialize one input memory location, you have to use LXI H, that memory location. Okay, no other instruction can be used here. To initialize any input memory location, always you have to specify it using LXI H instruction. So LXI H, 9000, then move A, M. That means this memory location, which is 9000, that is the indirect memory location, and in this memory location there is a data, input data 80, which will be moved to accumulator. Okay, so now my first data is stored in accumulator. How can we go to the second one? If we increase the memory location from 9000 to 9001, and how can we increase the memory location? Using INX H. And why it is INX H? Because this is your 16-bit number. And why this one is INRC? Because C is storing the 8-bit number. Now to increment any 8-bit number, you need to use INR. If you want to increase the 16-bit number by 1, you have to use INX. X represent more than 8-bit is involved. Okay, so my memory locations are 16-bit in size, but inside that memory location, the data must be 8-bit in size. Is it clear? That's why I have used the INXH, so that the first memory location will be incremented by 1 to go to the next one, and from the next memory location, processor fetch this data byte and store it into the B register. So my 2 data bytes are now stored inside 2 registers. The first one is in A, second one is in B. Then I need to add them, A plus B. And what is the instruction? Add B. And after addition, there may be a carry or may not be a carry. But it's a general program, so that you have to consider both of them condition. Now it's better to consider which one first, if there is no carry, because if there is no carry, I don't need to perform any extra operation. সব সময় মনে রাখবে যে সবথেকে সহজ কন্ডিশনটা আগে তুমি অ্যাজিউম করবে, ঠিক আছে? এবং এখানে সবথেকে সোজা অ্যাজাম্পশনটা কি আছে? If there is no carry, I don't need to create any another instruction execution. Okay, and if I don't need to access any another instruction, so I need to skip of that instruction. I need to skip that instruction, so that I need to just perform whatever I need to do. And what is your aim? You need to store the 8-bit result into some memory location in 9050 as per problem statement, and carry in 9051 memory location. Now to store any data in some memory location, again you have to initialize that memory location first, then store the data inside that memory location. And how can you initialize the memory location? Using the same type of instruction, using LXI-H. So after addition, if there is no carry, jump to that memory location whose name is store. Clear? So if যদি আমি label now use করি, যদি আমি কোনো নাম না দিই, then what I need to write here after JNC? JNC 800D memory location. JNC 800D. Okay, so jump on no carry, jump to 800D memory location if there is no carry. I just give the name of that particular memory location, because if you can forget about the left hand side address, suppose there is no address you have calculated right now, you have just written the mnemonics one by one to create the logic of your program. Just forget about the extreme left hand side, the addresses. Okay, you just written this MBIC, 00, then LXIH, all of these things. In that case, you have to specify where you need to jump. Okay, and you need to specify it using some name. So কোথায় আমি জাম্প করব? সেইখানেই জাম্প করব যেখানে আমি এটা আমি লেবেল করেছি. So it's just a name. You can give a name of anything. JNC, it's your name also, like JNC loop, and loop is here. So that means if there is no carry, jump to this memory location. So if it jumps to this memory location, it's just want to save the 8-bit result which is stored inside the accumulator into this memory location, and the carry which is stored inside the C register, as I have initialized the C register 00 initially. I consider there will be no carry. And if there is any carry, what we need to do? Just increment the content of C register by 1, because যখন আমি addition করলাম, what is the output 9th number bit carry? That is 01. So if it is 00, there is no carry. If it is 01, that means there is a carry, and that carry should be stored inside this memory location, which is 9051, using this instruction. Is it clear, the logic? Is there any confusion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now after writing this mnemonics, you have to calculate the memory address of each instruction. suppose I have started, I would like to start my program from 8000 memory location. So I have written 8000 address for first instruction MBI C, 00. Now you need to calculate the next instruction memory address. If you know the actual length of this instruction. Now any MVI related instruction is a 2-byte instruction. That means it needs 2 consecutive memory location to store. And if it needs 2 consecutive memory location to store, that means 8000 and 8001. These 2 locations are reserved for this one. So what will be the next memory address for the next instruction? 8002. And this is your 3-byte instruction. So 8002, 8003 and 8004, these 3 consecutive memory locations are required to store the entire instruction. So what will be the next instruction address? 8005. It's a 1-byte instruction, so the next instruction address will be 8006. Again, this one is your 1-byte instruction, the next one will be 8007. Again, this one is your 1-byte instruction, the next instruction address will be 8008. This one is also 1-byte instruction. The next instruction address will be 8009. Now this one is your 3-byte instruction. So it needs 3 consecutive memory location. So the next instruction address will be 800C. Because after 9 in hexadecimal number system, it gets A, B, then C. So 8009, 8000A, then 8000B. These 3 memory locations are reserved to store this 3-byte instruction JNC memory address. Okay, so the next instruction address will be 8000C. This is 1-byte instruction. So what will be the next instruction address? 8000D. Again, this one is your 3-byte instruction. So D, E, F. 800D, 800E, 800F. These are reserved for this instruction. So what will be the next instruction address? Will be 8010. Again, this one is your 1-byte instruction. This one will be your 8011. Then the next instruction address will be 12 because it's another 1-byte instruction. Again, this one is 1-byte instruction. So the next instruction address will be 103, 8013. After that, there is no instruction. So you have to write up to this one. So in this way, you have to specify the instruction address. That's why instruction length must be familiar. You must clear the concept about the instruction length. You must familiar with this instruction length. Without knowing the instruction length, you can't calculate where you need to jump. Okay. And after writing, so your first step was to write the program logic using assembly language instructions. Second step is to calculate the memory address of each instruction. Now third step is to convert each assembly language mnemonics into a machine code with the help of that hex code chart. Okay, so MBIC, if it is converted into machine code, that is 0E, and after MBIC there is 00, so 00 is written in this way. Now LXI H, 9000, the machine code for LXI H is 21, so 21 is written, then comma, then this is your 16-bit code. So any 16-bit code will be entered in reverse order. So lower 00 will be processed first, that's why 00, then 90. So it will be 90, sorry. This will be 90. This will be 90. Okay, so after that, move A comma M, the machine code of move A comma M is 7E. Then add B, move B, INXH is 23, then move B comma M is 46, add B is 80, JNC is D2. Now after JNC, your memory address will be 800D. This one will be 800D. 800D. Okay, the code of JNC is D2 and 800D will be entered in reverse order. So 02 will be processed first, then 80. then INRC 0C, then LXI H, 9050. LXI H is again 21, as you have already written 21. Then 9050 will be entered in reverse order, 50 first, then 90. Then move M comma A, which is 77. Then INX H 23. Move M comma C is 71 and halt is 76. So for user, this is the program for an user. But for processor, this is the program. Okay, so 0E comma 00, the meaning of this one is clear C register. 21 comma 0090 means load initial address to get operand. So by the help of this machine code, microprocessor 8085 can understand what will be the operation, what will be the logic. And for human being, we need to understand only this type of language. Okay, so your first step is to write the program in assembly language instruction. Second, calculate the memory address of each instruction. Third step is convert these mnemonics or assembly language instructions into a machine code or hex code. So there are 3 steps to perform any program. Okay, so tell me, clear up to this much? Anyone have any doubt?
No, sir.
So ক্লিয়ার করতেই হবে, যতক্ষণ না ক্লিয়ার হবে আমি ছাড়ছি না। So you must clear this concept. This concept will be required for every program from tomorrow. If you have any queries, any doubt, you can ask me now, because I will not explain tomorrow the same thing in the lab class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now.